Good afternoon and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. Today I thought I would do the podcast on film or on video because I haven't done that before. And the reason I am doing that is just because I thought some people like to watch podcasts rather than just listen. So either or. Now I did have, see, in my little prepping planner, I have my notes because the whole reason I wanted to come on today was after the declutter yesterday. I mean, that was epic. Absolutely epic. We have got rid of so much stuff. We have moved so much stuff. The kitchen is still like a bomb site because I need to find places to put the food that I brought down. And that's part of the reason I wanted to talk today because I started prepping and I got a lot of stuff. And yesterday, when we were up the stairs and we sorted out the shelves and we emptied the wardrobe, and my friend Hazel was like, "How much food do you have in your bedroom? Why do you have food in your bedroom?" And I have, the big bags of tea bags because Patrick and I go through a lot of tea. I have about 10 of those big bags. Now, there's Patrick and I. Kathleen doesn't drink tea. So that is a bit ridiculous. So I will be donating some of the tea bags very, very shortly because it's pointless me having that many, apart from the fact that the rate I go through them, yes, it's pretty quick, but it is an awful lot of stuff. And then when you look at what I actually have here, it's an awful lot of stuff. And there's some stuff that I just haven't used. There's some stuff that I've bought so many of them that it'll take me years to use them because I don't use them very often. But if they were on offer, I bought lots of them. And I pressure canned a lot of meat when I first got my pressure canner. Now I have barely eaten, I think I've eaten 2 jars of it, 3 jars. I have about 50 jars. And yet I keep buying stuff, I keep buying meat to put in the freezer. It's time I started using what I have, because then what I can do as I'm going through the jars is I can stockpile in my freezer again, and then I can pressure can again when I have enough of stuffs. I also bought additional lids for the pressure canning jars last year sometime, so I have additional lids, etc. So I'm all ready to do more pressure canning. Why would I do it when I have all those jars already? And that also means that whereas when I come home from work and I'm exhausted, I haven't taken anything out of the freezer, and I don't like microwaving things from frozen. I don't know why. There's no obvious reason for it. But it's like, nope, don't like doing that. So what I do is, if I haven't taken something out of the freezer, I'll eat something rubbish. So how much easier is it if I have got my cooked chicken, cooked pork, cooked minced beef? I just have to put that in a pot and heat it up. Now I can put it in a pot with tomato sauce and make it a really quick bolognese because I've got my frozen peppers, I've got fresh onions, I've got frozen onions, I've got dehydrated onions, I've got many dehydrated mushrooms. How long would that take to make? 10 minutes? Curry sauce, 10 minutes to heat it through. Put in your cook up your veggies first, heat through your sauce, add your chicken. That's me got curry done in 10 minutes. I need to start doing that rather than thinking that there's nothing quick I've got to eat. So that is going to be happening in the next few weeks. And that means that we'll be emptying some of the jars that we can reuse. Also, we are going to be using some tin stuff. Like today, Kathleen, my daughter, she is doing a double shift. So she's literally just arrived home. What is that? That's 1:45, I think. So she arrived home about 1:30. She will be getting up again at 3:15. She's having a nap, and then going and doing another shift. And she said, "Can I please do a roasted veggies?" So we've got the carrots that I got last week. we've got fresh onions, but I also have a couple of tins of potatoes, which seemingly are really good in the air fryer. So they're going to go in as well, and that's one tin less that I have to find shelf space for. So that's my plan, is to start actually being realistic about my preps. I have a lot of dried stuff in Mylar bags that will last for years, but I need to start using what I have. And it was a complete eye-opener yesterday when my friend Hazel, who cracks the whip something dreadful, was like, no, no food allowed in your bedroom. Your bedroom is where you come to rest and relax and have peace. It's like, yes, dear, okay. Yeah, I got such a dirty look for that. But yeah, so we brought all the food down into the kitchen, and I can't move in my kitchen. But I've made myself a path now from the sitting room to the kettle. It was a fight to get to the kettle before, but I now have a clear path. So there's been a whole lot of washing done. There's been a whole lot of stuff put away. Things have been moved from different shelves. I still have a lot to do, but the biggest thing I'm going to do is start using the stuff. So that is number one. The other thing that I thought of, which I wrote down on my planner, is the whole point of the decluttering. Now, I have, as if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I've got stuff from Mum and Dad's house. I've got stuff that we've had for years. I mean, I have a built-in wardrobe in my bedroom, but I kept the wardrobe that Kathleen had when she was a kid. She has a built-in wardrobe in her bedroom as well, so we don't actually need another wardrobe. But it was a pine wardrobe and I wasn't going to throw it out. It's going. Now, whether one of the guys at works wants it, or somebody locally, or it's getting chopped up to burn in my wood stove, do you know, but I need to just draw a line under it. But it came to me and I thought, do you know something? Many, many years ago, in my great-grandparents' days or prior to that, there was many of us, or many of them, because obviously I wasn't there, who had virtually nothing but the basics. You know, they had you see the stories about, there was a meme went out, or a joke went out on Facebook a couple of years ago about someone saying, you know, they got called in for their dinner after their dad was finished with the plate. And that's how a lot of people lived. They had nothing apart from the absolute necessities. And then gradually, as people managed to improve their lot, shall we say, then they managed to get additional things. They got decorative things. Excuse me while I sort out my cushions. So they would have decorative things, you know, they got pictures, they got ornaments. I mean, goodness, they hadn't had ornaments ever before. Something that wasn't an actual necessity, something that was only there to look pretty, to decorate their home. You know, if you could afford something like a clock or a picture, you know, if you could spend money on something that wasn't there to feed or clothe your family, then you had made it. You know, that was a huge thing. And that was great. And then it started getting more and more. And of course, as the generations went on, you know, my mum and dad kept my granny's stuff. And don't get me wrong, I was brokenhearted when I had to get rid of it. Because they kept my granny's wedding china. And they kept their wedding china. And that was 2 huge boxes this size of stuff that couldn't go in the dishwasher, couldn't go in the oven. Big gravy boats, vegetable things, terrines, etc., etc. And I mean, I would have loved to be able to set up a dinner table and have that. I mean, Mum and Dad had a dinner table. We still never had a big enough dinner because there was only 3 of us and then 4 when Kathleen came. We still never had a big enough dinner to bring everything out. That stuff had sat wrapped up in boxes in newspaper since ever I can remember. So we got rid of it. We put it to auction and we sold it. I don't actually know if it got sold or not, because it was actually Hazel. She knew an auction house near her rather than anybody. I don't know of an auction house. Our local auction house closed down. So she took the china, and we got rid of that. And I mean, I was heartbroken. I thought it was gorgeous. A lot of people didn't, but do you know what? I liked it. I don't have room for that here. I don't have room for the wall unit, and I know, I'm sorry. You know, there is the thing on the comments with the dear God, don't get rid of the wall unit. We have to get rid of the wall unit. But it's not, Kathleen and I, we had the conversation about it. We don't class it as mum and dad's wall unit. It was a kitchen unit for them. Their wall unit was the old mahogany one, which died a couple of years ago. This one that's here, it's the one at the back there. It is not, it's not classed as mum and dad's unit, it's just classed as a kitchen unit. So it has to go. But, you know, when you think of how much stuff we brought forward through the generations, and that was all well and good when, you know, the man went out to work and the woman stayed at home. So she could keep everything clean and dust free and stuff and things. Then you get to my generation, which was, you know, granted we're getting a bit old now, but, you know, we would buy our own house, but we could be single parents, or if we were married, again, we would have our own house, but there was two of us, but we were out working full time, paying for childcare. And then there was the extracurricular activities that you paid for, but that meant that you were out. So our time was then what we lost. Whereas in our great-grandparents' generation, they didn't actually own things, as in things. As we get to my generation, I am of the opinion, I mean, this is only my personal opinion, but I'm of the opinion that we've lost time to do things within the home, because we're wanting to spend time with the kids. Because obviously when my parents had me, and mum initially, I remember her working part-time, and then as I got a bit older she worked full-time, so they had this household with things, decorative things, and found out that it was a bit tight, you know, they were struggling. By the time you get to my generation, we're feeling, or we're recognising, that our parents didn't have time to take us to these extracurricular activities or spend time with us because they were both working and doing the house and etc, etc. So we made up for it by taking our kids to anything and everything that we could, so they didn't miss out. And we're exhausted. But we've still got all the stuff from previous generations. And I am not for 1 minute thinking of minimalism, because I don't like minimalism. But I am thinking that the expectation we have of our homes being pristine, with everything all pretty, we need to look at that differently. We need to look at it with the, what am I able to do? And I am not able to do an awful lot. I am getting older. I'm getting more decrepit by the day, it would seem. I don't want to be spending my weekend dusting surfaces, cleaning things, polishing ornaments, etc, etc. I don't want to be doing that. I want to be having some time to do something I enjoy, not just getting it so that our world is ready to go to work next week, which I think there's an awful lot of us doing. Is we're working all week, we're coming home on a Friday night, and Saturday and Sunday are spent doing the washing, getting the meals ready, getting the shopping in, getting ready for going back to work on Monday. So I'm thinking that, certainly for me, I want to look at how I'm redoing the house, because obviously I'm decluttering. There's furniture going away on Thursday morning. The stuff's getting lifted. But I need to make this place that it's as low maintenance as possible. Because I don't want to be chasing my tail, because this place was an absolute mess yesterday. Hazel was horrified. And she's like, what is it? Do you know, what's that? Oh my God. Do you know, are you depressed or something? I said, like, no, I was depressed, but I'm sorted now. Do you know, my big expenses have all been done and everything's done, you know, boxes have been ticked. So this is me now going forward with more positivity. This is why I want to declutter. This is why I want things redone. But to get there, to get past that place where you're at, where you've been chasing your tail for so long and never actually catching it, is a huge thing. So this is my next plan, is I am going to go for the not quite minimalist, but if I don't need it, it's not happening. Because I think that's hugely important as we get older. And certainly if we're still working when we're older, the last thing we want to be doing is spending our weekends chasing our tail, trying for this imaginary 1950s perfect home illusion. It's not happening, but at least it's not for me. And I don't expect my house to be perfect. It never has been, it never will be. But I do expect it now to be that I can keep on top of it. And that's, just now that I've said that, that is exactly what I want from my house, from my home. I want it to be such a way that I can keep on top of it without having to exhaust myself or without resenting it. So yeah, that's my thought about the house. Obviously, I'm sure you can hear it's more echoey in here because a lot of the clutter has gone. The washing machine, well, the tumble dryer's on just now. It is going great guns because I'm absolutely not hanging washing out when there's Storm Kathleen out there. You know, bad enough having a Kathleen up the stairs. I do not putting washing out with a Kathleen outside. So yes, that is my whole thing. But thank you so much. We've hit 10,000 subscribers. Who thought that would happen? It's like quite freaky. Thank you though to everyone who has subscribed. It is absolutely blown me away. I've got no clue what I'm doing here. I'm just like, this is so fantastic. Thank you so much. You know, thank you for joining me in this journey while I try and prepare for getting older, getting through this midlife, finding out the best ways to do it that I can. And thank you also for so much advice that I've had over the last couple of years. You have helped me immeasurably. It has been absolutely wonderful. And it's a lovely little community now, which is great. And we keep an eye on each other and we check in and, you know, sympathy where required and encouragement where required. And you are all fantastic to me, so thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Now, I'm going to go and switch this off now. We will have no comments, please, about the fact that I am killing myself getting up off this chair. This was my dad's old chair. It's not going anywhere. Kathleen and I are not getting rid of it. But it's like a rocking chair. And obviously my knees are in bits, having gone up and down the stairs so often yesterday. So I'm just going to turn me round a little bit, and then we'll get up and we'll switch off the camera. Catch you later.